No, it's coffee, but you can't drink coffee. I'm sorry.
Okay, Mika decided to leave, so here we are. I took a little trip out to LA and Austin in the month of February, mainly because I had a brand event to attend in Austin, but because there's no direct flights from Vancouver to Austin, I decided to do a stopover in LA to visit my childhood friend Rainbow, who is about to move out of this city, which is pretty nuts. Usually every time I go to LA, I stay with her, and yeah, her place has always just been a nice kind of like second home for me. I love the city, I love going there, but LA has also been special for me because it's always been a time where I get to spend quality time with her. On another note, it's definitely been a season of growth and change for everyone, it seems. So many people I know are either changing jobs, moving to a new city, going through a breakup, or like a combination of one of those three. I think maybe it's because we're entering this stage in our lives where we don't really feel old yet, but we aren't really feeling as young anymore. And we've just reached a point where we have been inevitably pushed to think about where we've been, where we've come from, where we are now, and what we hope to achieve in the future. Even for myself, it's definitely been a period of thought, of planning, and really just reviewing like the foundations of who I am, my goals, my career, my business, and all of that. Anyways, that's not really the point of this video. Because I have been in this phase, it's hard not to be thinking about these things as I'm traveling, especially later on in this trip where I had a bit of a mini solo trip, I guess, in Austin, which will be in the next video. I feel like there's just been a lot of reflection, and I think that when you travel alone, that inevitably comes because you don't have the noise of other people in your way. But anywho, I did also just film what I did and the fun things that I did in each city. So I wanted to walk you through some of the fun things that I got to do in LA and how they made me feel. I didn't do a lot of like talking portions in the LA part of this trip, mainly because I was always with people. I still definitely have I don't know if it's a fear, maybe it's more of an anxiety, that if I take out my camera to film, like it's fine if I'm capturing the moment, but if I'm talking to the camera, I feel anxiety about bothering those around me and not sort of wanting to take up their time to do the thing that I need to do, which is a bit silly because one, not only is this kind of a job in a way, but it also is just a way for me to like record my memories and remember this stage of my life, and it's a genuine hobby and passion of mine. So I think that that's something that I need to get over, is not feeling ashamed that I want to and / kind of have to do this thing that is vlogging. I have taken so many trips in the last couple of years that I haven't filmed for that exact reason, and I just don't want to be missing out on the opportunity to capture those moments anymore and to be able to share them with you, because it does feel like a little bit of a shame. I mean, on one hand, I am spending that time really intentionally and living in the moment, but on the other hand, I do feel like a slight level of regret every time I leave a trip and I'm like, crap, I didn't vlog that at all, and I wish I did. So we're going to be working on that this year. I'm always a little bit unsure about filming kind of like a recap of a trip, because is it interesting, or is it more interesting for you to watch me in the moment, living it, telling you about it? But I'm also gonna try not to think about that, because I genuinely just want to share some of the things that I did with you. And you know what? The format is just, it's gonna have to work. You can let me know in the comments whether you still enjoy travel vlogs when it's done in a more recap format, or whether you prefer and only want travel vlogs when they're filmed completely in the moment. Okay, on to talking about LA. So Rainbow actually moved to West Hollywood. She's always lived sort of in Arts District and in downtown LA. So that's kind of been the areas that I've been exploring a lot in past trips. But this time, since she's staying in West Hollywood, I stayed in West Hollywood and I just got to explore that area a little bit more. I think compared to the very first trip I took in LA, West Hollywood has changed a lot as well. There's new stores on Melrose. There's just like, there's actually some major stores that have popped up since the last time that I really spent time there. I actually was working remotely on this trip, so I ended up going to a cafe that I haven't visited since the very first time I came to LA, so it was like a little bit of a walk down memory lane, but I went to Alfred. It kind of is this like classic quintessential LA experience for most girlies, I would say, because it's very cute, it's floral, the coffee's good, they have sort of like specialty drinks as well, and obviously it's located on Melrose where there's a ton of other stuff going on. So yeah, I just haven't been there since the first time, and it was a nice little throwback. As I was working away and yeah, just kind of hearing like other people working next to me having chats with their agents, reviewing scripts, or working remotely. It was just a cute environment. And I think that if you are staying in West Hollywood, there are a bunch of different options of cafes that you can work from, but Alfred is definitely one that I would recommend. Another one is SOL. I forget what the acronym stands for, I'll put it on the screen, but we actually went there for lunch before Alfred, which I didn't film because we were just talking about some very personal topics. But that place has really great food, like kind of like healthy food, great coffee, and yeah, it's also another spot that I saw a lot of people working remotely from. So 2 recommendations for you if you are planning to visit West Hollywood. And then right across from Alfred, there's actually a Maria Tash. So Maria Tash is this piercing place that Rainbow was telling me about. She recently got some piercings there and she really loved their service, loved their products. It is on the pricier side, which I'll talk about in a bit, but I have been thinking about getting some new piercings, which is funny because I have always loved piercings. I've always loved body art and body jewelry, like tattoos and piercings, but I think there is this level of correlation between different stages of my life and wanting to get more body art. So I think it's pretty stereotypical that when people already have tattoos, when they're going through something in their lives, like a breakup, a change, something like that, they feel more inclined to go get more body art. I didn't think about this in the moment. I was just like, oh, piercing place, Rainbow needs to go there for an errand anyways, so let's get some piercings. But as I'm thinking back about this trip and where my head was at, I'm like, did I get these piercings because I am going through a period of change? And yeah, it was just I was like craving a little bit of piercing pain or something. Anywho, not the point. I did have a really good experience there. Their service is phenomenal. Their pricing is a little deceiving, but overall I would say I do recommend the place if you don't mind investing a little bit in the jewelry that you're purchasing. Okay, I'm all done with my work day. I went to Maria Tash and got 2 new piercings, which I don't feel scammed, but it was quite expensive. So, it's very sore. So I got a second cartilage piercing, or like helix piercing, so it's that little stud there. And then I got my very first tragus piercing. Their piercing service is actually quite affordable. I think it's like, I want to say like in total for the 2 piercings were about $50 USD. However, they pretty much only have fine jewelry, so even if you wanted like a little diamond stud, it's a real diamond, so it's gonna be costly. So I, in my logical mind, was like, I'm gonna pick just like little ball studs because I like the look of the simple ball studs anyways. Plus, I think it's gonna be a little bit more affordable. So these 2 ball studs, exact same size, and turns out they only have white gold options, so they were $125 each. Pretty freaking crazy. I could have just settled for like stainless steel or silver. However, the good thing about getting a piercing there is you can actually keep the piercings and the backings for any future piercings that you want to do, so that's really helpful. But yeah, it was just like a surprisingly pricey piercing, but I really like it. I've been wanting some new piercings for a while, and I actually really like how it turned out. And I will say the piercer there was extremely knowledgeable and really wanted to get like the placement perfect. Like even for the double helix, before she pierced it, she was like,
do you think you'll want to put a hoop there in the future? And I was like, yeah, definitely, because I like the look of 2 hoops as well. So she put a tester hoop on me to see how it would lay, and then she sort of like pierced it so that in the future when I do want to put a hoop in, it'll lay exactly right. So I think that level of detail and like service was definitely worth the service cost plus some, but the piercings are quite expensive. So if you ever go to Marie Tash, just note that all the jewelry is going to be probably pretty pricey. Anyways, I'm waiting for my friend Rainbow to get off, so I'm actually headed to 2nd Street, which is like a consignment store in the States. So let's go check it out.
I've definitely been in a stage of like financial, what is the word, like reviewing, planning as well. And so I have been trying to use that as motivation to reach my goal of shopping more intentionally. I think in the past, due to the nature of just being a girly who loves fashion, but also working in social media, I will fully admit that I try to keep up with trends, and when I see a lot of people like styling a specific trend, I'm like, okay, how can I get in on this? And I end up purchasing from stores that I don't really want to support, like big fast fashion stores online or places like Zara or Aritzia. And then I end up buying these pieces that I don't wear for a long time. The quality isn't amazing, and I just keep contributing to this toxic cycle of capitalism and fast fashion, and also the decrease of my bank account. Like, why do I do that? I'm reaching that point where I am truly feeling like, okay, I no longer want to participate in that. Yes, it is to support a more sustainable fashion world, but it is also to support my own happiness and wardrobe as well, because it's just, I don't want to have such high turnover in clothes anymore. I want to feel good about my purchases and invest in pieces that I will love for a long time. And I also don't want to feel confused about my personal style anymore. I just want to have like a base foundational wardrobe that will kind of work in a lot of these different categories or styles, and I won't have to keep replacing my clothes because they're falling apart or because it was just like a micro trend that is now so over that I don't want to wear it anymore. Which is why I was visiting 2nd Street and Wasteland. So I actually heard about 2nd Street through Tam Mai. She is this beautiful creator that I follow from New York. Yes, she's actually gorgeous as well, but what makes her beautiful is her brain, honestly. She just talks a lot about personal growth and wellness and finding balance in her own journey, and I think I resonate a lot with that because that's also constantly what's in my mind, and I want that to show more in the content that I put out because, you know, I'm here to entertain, but I am also here to really be vulnerable so that I can show others how to be vulnerable, hoping that, you know, showing you my journey can help you in your journey some way. I feel like there's been so many tangents in this video already. Anywho, I found out about 2nd Street USA from her. They are a consignment / thrift store that also sells and carries some like designer pieces. You know, not that I'm saying that I'm only going to be purchasing secondhand from now on, but I do want to do more of that when I'm looking for specific pieces instead of going out and trying to purchase these pieces from fast fashion brands, you know? So the way that I look at shopping now is I have very specific pieces or brands that I want to invest in mind, and I purchase based off of that. We also visited a art gallery opening while we were there with something that Rainbow wanted to do. It was actually her birthday, so we did the art gallery, we went to dinner, but that was also kind of just an inspiring moment for me as well. You know, I did a lot of work travel in February. I went to Vegas for the Super Bowl. I went to LA, I went to Austin, and then I went to Calgary for work. And I think because my brain has been so focused on this planning phase of my life, like that's the best way I can describe it, but this planning phase of my life, that what I'm taking from these trips are also very focused and specific as well. So you might look at the trips and think that they're totally random, but the thing that I've gained from every single one of these places and trips is inspiration and motivation. When I went to Vegas, it was the people that I was meeting that was very, very inspiring. The conversations that I was having. When I went to LA, it was also the people I was talking to, and it was conversations with people that I like hold really close to my heart, like Rainbow, but it was also places like this art gallery. And what I took from it is that art can come in many different forms. You know, I was talking about body art, and that's a form of art for me. I think video creation, content creation is a form of art, furniture, painting, drawing, writing, music production. I think there are so many different ways to be creative, and although I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with this thought, I think just overall it feeds my inspiration. I'm trying to gather all that energy, all that motivation, and really narrow it down into what I want to focus on myself. I think just every single event that has happened in February has been very inspiring, and that has been a really beautiful thing. Like I have some very big decisions to think about and make over the next little while, which I'll definitely be sharing with you as I go. But I don't want to necessarily just like verbally dump it on you at this point because I haven't really figured it all out in my head yet. So yeah, just know that that's kind of where I am, and there's gonna probably be a lot of changes in my life coming very soon. Okay, I feel like this video has went from travel vlog to full-on therapy session with you, so thank you for listening to me almost like emotionally dump on you, or at least like brain dump on you. We did end our night at a karaoke bar, and it was great seeing Rainbow just have fun. And yeah, that was kind of the point of this trip really, was just to spend time with her, feel a little bit more inspired, have these deep conversations, and be excited about where she goes in her life next. I am also editing the Austin vlog today, so that will be up sooner than my usual like once a week schedule, and the format of that vlog will be a lot more like a come with me to this trip. I'm vlogging in the moment, I'm talking to you in the moment, so stay tuned for that if that's what you enjoy in vlogs. But if you have also enjoyed this video, thank you for watching, and thank you for letting me catch up with you and letting me update you on my life and sort of play around with video formats that feel fulfilling to me. I hope that it was also fulfilling for you in some way. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Cheers!